So, good morning, everyone. We are the group 2, and our topic for today is all about shopping food items, which is protein-rich food.
Protein is an important part of a healthy diet are made up of chemical building blocks called amino acid. So, protein are considered the building blocks of life. So, binubuo ito ng amino acid, then tumutulong ito ng malaki sa paglago at pag-aayos ng mga nasirang cells at tissue sa ating katawan. What are the function of protein? Protein is a nutrient needed by the human body for growth and maintenance. Protein also are utilized in membranes such as glycoprotein. So, ang mga body tissues and muscles para gumana, parang tao din na dapat pakainin at malaking part ang protein para sa development to take place. Protein function in exercise. Protein are one of the key nutrients for success in terms of sports. They play a major role in the response to exercise. Amino acid, the building blocks of protein, are used for building new tissues including muscle. So when people hear protein and exercise, ay automatic na papasok sa kanilang isipan yung mga bodybuilders. Then, ang protein ay mahalaga para sa lahat ng tao, lalo na sa mga nag-exercise, nag-i-sports at nag-gym.
So, beef. Beef is the culinary name of meat from the cattle, particularly skeletal muscles, and humans have been eating beef since prehistoric times. So, ang beef po ay talaga namang nakasanayan siyang kainin simula pa nung unang panahon. And then, beef also is a source of protein and nutrients. So, ang beef po ay isang pagkain na pinagkukuhanan din natin ng protein and nutrients. So, we have the grades of beef. First is prime. Prime, top grade for beef. So, yung prime po is a top grade ng beef. It is characterized by its excellent flavor, juiciness, and tenderness. So, yung prime part po ng beef is excellent flavor, juiciness, and tenderness. And also, prime beef is also generally sold at restaurants and hotels. So, ibig sabihin po, ito pong prime part ng beef po is talagang mabenta po sa hotel and restaurant. Kasi prime also called fresh po, sariwa. So, ibig sabihin yung prime beef po, prime part of beef po is sariwa. Kaya talagang excellent flavor, juiciness, and tenderness at talagang mabenta siya sa mga hotel and restaurants. Second is primal cuts. First, cuts made on meat carcasses. Cuts from which retail cuts are made. So, primal cuts is a piece of meat initially separated from the flesh of an animal during butcherings. So, yung primal cuts po is yun yung mga nahati-hati na po natin beef. So, tinatawag po siyang primal cuts. And mamaya po, may papakita po kaming mga iba't ibang uri po ng cuts po ng beef. Next is beef front quarter. The beef front quarter contains 4 primal cuts: the brisket, foreshank, rib, and chuck, square chuck. Beef hind quarter. The beef hind quarter is broken down into 4 primal cuts: the flank, the long loin, the hip, and the sirloin. So, ang beef po ay may hati po siya sa dalawa, which is the beef front quarter and the hind beef quarter. So, ito po yun. Ito po yung beef natin, yung cow. And then, ayan po yung hati niya. And ito pong orange, ito pong makikita niyo po. Yan po yung tinatawag nating beef front quarter. And ito naman, yung sa kabilang side, is the beef hind quarter. And also, this is the picture of prime. So, ito po yung prime beef. Ito po yung picture na kung makikita niyo po talaga is talagang masarap na naman po talaga tignan. Kahit po talaga titignan lang natin siya is talagang masarap nga naman. So, talagang generally sold nga naman talaga at restaurants and hotel. Mabenta nga naman talaga siya. Next, we have breakdown of wholesale and retail cuts. So, ito na po yung sinasabi ko kanina na iba't ibang uri po ng cuts of beef. Wholesale beef cuts. So, we have ito. Ito na po yung wholesale beef cuts. Meron po tayong chuck, brisket, shank, rib, fillet, short loin, flank, and top sirloin, bottom sirloin, round. So, ayan po yung mga hati-hati po ng beef. Excuse me. So, yung chuck po is a rectangular cut about 2.54 cm, 1 inch thick. So, kapag nahati na po siya, 1 inch po yung kapal niya, and then 2.54 cm yung haba niya. And then we have the brisket. Ito po. So, brisket is a cut of meat from the breast or lower chest of beef or veal or cow. So, yun po. Ito po yun, malapit po siya sa breast po ng beef, ng cow, ganun. And sa lower part po. So, yun. And then we have the shank. The shank is a leg portion of a cow, beef. So, we have the rib, the plate. So, yung rib po is, meron po tayong tinatawag ng mga iba't ibang klase po ng rib. So, magpo-focus lang po tayo sa isa, yung best rib na sinasabi. So, kung sa atin nga, merong best in ganito, best in jowa, ganyan-ganyan. So, sa rib din po is meron din pong best. So, sa lahat po ng bagay is meron po talagang best. So, yung ang best rib po is, pangalan niya po is a short plate na tinatawag. So, yun po yung pinaka-best na rib. And then, we have the sirloin. Ito po, nasa bandang itaas po siya bandang likod na po yan ng cow po, ng beef. And then, tenderloin. Tenderloin is referred to in other parts of the world as a fillet. So, ibig sabihin po, ang tenderloin po ay tinatawag na fillet sa ibang part po ng mundo. Katulad na lamang po ng Australia. So, yung tenderloin po nila doon is tinatawag na fillet. And then sa Pilipinas naman is tenderloin. Then next is top sirloin. Top sirloin is a cut from the loin that offers good flavor in a thick cut, ideal for grilling, broiling, sautéing, or pan frying. So, yung tenderloin, yung top sirloin po, rather, kapag nakat na po siya is makapal po na talagang pang-ihaw po yung dating. So, lahat naman po siguro tayo dito ano, 'di ba? Nag-iihaw, gano'n. So, nag-iihaw ng beef. So, 'pag nag-iihaw po kayo, yung part po na yun is tinatawag na tenderloin kasi medyo makapal po siya na talagang pang-ihaw po siya. Kasi hindi naman, so yun pa. Yung bottom sirloin, Bottom sirloin is a cut from the back of the animal below top sirloin and above the flank. So ito po yun, below the top sirloin and above the flank. Ayan po. Next is flank. Flank is a abdominal part of a beef. So yun po, yung flank po is malapit yung chan po na tinatawag, chan po ng beef. So ayan, abdominal part po ng beef. So flank po yung tawag doon. And then round naman is ito yung malapit sa leg ng cow.
So, wholesale beef cut, also known as a fry mouth, ito yung pinakamalaking hati ng beef na pinapadala sa mga grocery, sa market. Di ba kadalasan naman pag napupunta tayo sa mga marketplace, sa mga palengke, halos sa mga madadaanan natin, may makikita tayong mga beef na mga nakabalandara doon. So, ayun yung yung pinaka-primal ng wholesale beef, yun yung pinaka-malaking hati. Retail cuts of beef. Ito yung hati naman. Ito yung makikita din natin to sa mga grocery. Then, there are eight wholesale retail cut of beefs that are used to make retail cuts. And the first one is chuck, rib, short loin, sirloin, breast and foreshank, fillet, flank, and round.
Ang pork ay isang karaniwang baboy na binibili natin sa palengke. Ito ay isa sa ating pagkain na binibili natin sa palengke na nakasanayan na natin na bilhin o lutuin. Dahil ang baboy mayroong iba't ibang luto ng baboy. Next. Wholesale pork cuts. Ito po ay isang karaniwang wholesale na pag binili po natin yung baboy, buuan po siyang bilhin. Isa pong buong baboy. Kumbaga, pag po binili niyo po siya sa palengke, buuan po siya kung bilhin. Next po. Pork cuts, ito po yung iba't ibang hati po ng baboy, iba't ibang uri po siya ng part ng baboy. Meron po siyang ham, low, pot, Jones, at iba-iba pa pong uri ng baboy na meron po siyang ribs, ganyan, iba't ibang uri po na parts nito, hindi lang po siya isang buo. Pag po hinati yung baboy, marami po tayong makikita na iba't ibang parts na to na pwede po nating lutuin or kainin. Pero meron din pong ng baboy na hindi po natin pwedeng kainin. Next po.
Pork is a very popular meat type in the world today, and learning more about pork parts and the type cuts available will help you navigate the world of wholesale pork. There are the four main primal cuts of pork that make up the wholesale pork market and from which retail cuts of meat are proceed, which is chop loin, sirloin, baby back rib, neck,
Hocks. The hock or rack nail is the joint between the tibia fibula of the leg and the metatarsals of the foot. The fourth hocks come from the front. The ham hock come from the rear legs. Ang ibig sabihin lang po niyan, nagmumula po yung hocks na to sa binti po ng baboy. Kung saan po nakakabit po yung hocks po, nakakabit po siya sa pinakabinti ng baboy. 'Di ba po yung baboy po na buo, yung pinakababa po nun, yun po yung hocks ng baboy na pwede pong bilhin or pwedeng lutuin ng tao. Leg or ham. The leg or ham is the real leg of the pig and typically eaten crab, smoked and processed in some way. Ang ibig sabihin lang po ng leg or ham, ang binti po or likuran binti ng baboy. Ang karaniwang pong ginagawa diyan ay pinapausukan. Yung pinaka-leg po na baboy parang yung hocks lang din po 'yun. Yung leg po yung pinakabinti lang po ng baboy. Yung hocks po yun po yung pinaka paa ng baboy. Yung part and belly naman po, yun lang po yung pinaka-tiyan ng baboy. Tulad po ng karaniwang binibili ng mga tao na ginagawa pong pork belly. Kasi po yung tiyan po ng baboy, malambot po siya. Pwede po siyang hatiin sa gitna or panipisin, tapos at saka po iluluto. Kaya po tinawag po siyang pork belly. Next po. Spare ribs. This come from the picnic ham, which is the lower portion of the pig, especially the belly and breastbone. Yan lang po yung, di ba po, yung kanina po, yung tiyan po ng baboy. Then po, yung pong spare ribs, yun naman po yung pinaka-utong or yung pinaka-daddy po ng baboy na pwede din pong kainin ng tao. Kaso nga lang po, hindi po siya gaanong mabili sa palengke kasi po, hindi po ganong ano po ng mga tao yun. Yung pork shoulder naman po, pinakamadali po. Yun lang po yung pinakabalikat ng baboy na pwede din pong lutuin or bilhin ng mga tao. Picnic ham, wait lang. Yung picnic ham naman po, parang din po lang yun yung ham. Ang pinagkaiba lang po nila yung picnic ham, maliit po siya kaysa sa kumpara sa ham. Yun po yung pinakamababang bahagi ng balikat ng baboy na binebenta po sa palengke. Next po.
Chop. Thick skin bone or boneless, the pork chop is cut from meat perpendicular to the spine, often from the loin. Ito po yung yung bahagi po ng baboy ito po yung bahagi ng baboy kung ng chop po na manifest or hindi. Tapos ito rin po yung may bone, merong buto o wala. And the loin. The pork loin comes from the pig back and typically large, lean, and very tender. Ito po yung galing sa balikit. Ito po yung si nanay nagsasalit.
Go.
Loin. The pork loin comes from the pig back and typically large, lean, and very tender. Ito po yung cut ng baboy na po sa back po niya. Typically po large po siya tapos po napakalambot po niya. Ito po yung tinatawag na loin. Sirloin. To the rear of the loin is the section of the back that the sirloin is cut from the meat typically cut into chops and lean there. Parang ganun lang din po siya sa loin. May pinagkaiba lang po sila sa pagcha-chop po nun. Pero tender pa din po siya. Baby back rib. The most tender rib option is the baby back rib, since the ribs come from the pork loin. The meat in between the bones loin meat rather than belly meat. Ito po yung cut po ng ng ribs na kung saan po rin may party po siya ng belly.
Bill.
Types of bill. Billers, this baby calf is slaughtered when it is from 8 to 10 weeks old and weighs 150 to 250 pounds. Ang mga batang guya daw ay papatayin kung ito ay mula 8 hanggang 10 linggong gulang at kung may timbang na 150 to 250 pounds. Billers are sometimes called milk-fed bill because they have been fed entirely on mother's milk. Ang mga billers ay tinatawag din minsan na milk-fed bill dahil ganap silang pinakain ng gatas ng ina. Calves after 8 to 12 weeks of milk feeding, calves are allowed to eat grass and grain. They are slaughtered when they are almost 5 months old and weigh 350 to 400 pounds. Ang mga guya daw ay pagkatapos ng 8 to 12 weeks na pagkain ng gatas ay maaari ng kumain ng damo. Tapos sila ay papatayin pag meron ng silang 5 buwan at tumitimbang na 350 to 400 pounds. Where is the map? What to avoid in buying meal? Ano ang mga dapat iwasan sa pagbili ng meal? Yung basa, tas yung laman niya ay may tubig na din. Yung kulay abo o mapula sa totoong kulay ng karne. Masyadong maraming taba sa labas at panloob na mabling na nangangahulugan na ang guya ay nasobrahan. Kung yung buto ay abo or white na, means masyado na siyang matanda. At kung madilaw-dilaw na yung taba, at lalong iwasan anumang hiwa na hindi galing sa binti ng guya. Cuts of bill. Because billers and calves are so small, they are not cut into size and way steers are. We buy a complete young animal, then we hang it in our coolers for no more than a week before cuttings it in half lengthwise and later quartering it. Ang mga billers at guya ay maliit or napakaliit. Sila ay hindi pinuputol sa gilid. Bumibili sila ng kumpletong batang hayop, then isinasabit nila ito sa mga cooler na hindi higit ng 1 linggo bago gupitin or hiwain sa kalahati ng haba at in the end, pinapatay ito. The front and hind section of calves are named differently from those of steers. For example, the forequarter of beef is called the foresaddle of veal, and the hind quarter of beef is called the hind saddle when referring to calves. Ang harap at hulihan ng mga seksyon ng mga guya ay pinangalan ng naiiba mula sa mga steer. Halimbawa, ang unahan sa unahan ng karne ng baka ay tinatawag na unahan na siyahan ng karne ng baka. At ang hulihang bahagi naman ay tinatawag na likyang siyahan kapag tumutukoy sa mga guya. Even though veal is young and tender, it sometimes requires a different kind of cooking from its parent, beef. The reason is the veal does not have the fat and the marbling of beef. Moist, slower cooking in the gentle, tender treatment that's right for veal. Kahit na bata at malambot ang veal, minsan nangangailangan dito ng iba't ibang uri ng pagluluto mula sa mga magulang na baka. Ang dahilan dito ay yung veal ay walang taba. Mabagal na pagluluto at malambot na paggawa ang kailangan para sa veal. Cut of veals. Hind saddle of veal. This consists of the sirloin, then the rump or leg, and ends with the hind shank. The tenderest portion is the rump minus the handshake. Best cooking method, this section makes a wonderful roast that can be complete with bones or boneless and roll. It can also be cut into delectable cutlets or thin slices for scallopini. Binubuo ito ng sirloin. Pagkatapos ang rump o binti, at nagtatapos sa handshake, ang pinakamalambot na bahagi ay ang rump. Ibawas ang handshake. pinakamahusay na paraan sa pagluluto. Gumagawa sila ng inihaw na maaaring kumpleto sa buto o walang buto at iro-roll. Maaari din itong ikat ng manipis na hiwa. Center leg roast. This is exactly in front of the hind shank and just before the sirloin. The center leg is an extremely tender roast with the boneless intact. Ito ay eksaktong harap ng hind shake at bago ang sirloin. Ang gitnang binti ay isang labis na malambot na inihaw. Best cooking method, roast, inihaw. Okay na po.
Rolled leg. This is very same as the center leg roast, but it has been completely boned, rolled, and tied. The best cooking method for rolled leg is roast. Shank half of leg. Shank half of leg is the excellent roast, but less tender than the center leg roast. So, mas hindi siya ganon ka lambot compare sa center leg roast. Best cooking method for shank half of leg is roast or braise. Veal cutlet. Veal cutlet, also known as round steaks. It comes from the top round and is cut from the center about 1/4 inch thick. So itong veal cutlet come from the top round. Yung top round is yung largest single muscle from the leg. And veal cutlet can be also made from nearly any solid muscle or from the thin boneless portion of leg. Best cooking method for veal cutlet is pan saute or pan fry. Veal birds. Veal birds are actually cutlets. They come from the eye of the cutlet and sometimes called fillet of veal. So ito naman veal birds. Ito yung small thin slice of veal na rolled around. So veal birds is actually cutlets. Best cooking method is bake or braise. Scalloping. Scalloping consists of thinly sliced meat, varies to 1/8 to 1/4 inch. So ito yung maninipis na slice na meat. 1/8 to 1/4 inch yung kanyang pagka-slice. Scallopini is so delicate and fragile that we only cut it to order. Scallopini is commonly cut from the leg or top round like sa cutlet. Usually, intricate French style of preparation yung ginagamit dito sa scallopini, which dinidissect yung center of leg or kinakat siya. Then, inaalis yung mga thin skin or thin layer na nagko-cover dun sa pinaka-meat. And re-remove din yung mga any sinewy fiber o yung mga matitigas na tissue dun sa meat. Sirloin of veal. Trim sirloin is one of the tender cut of veal. So, itong sirloin, yung isa sa mga pinaka malambot na cut ng veal. This portion is adjacent or next to the leg. It is also consists of several different muscles and includes portions of hip bones and backbone. Yung whole sirloin is only weigh about 3 to 4 pounds, but it packs off a lot of flavors per ounce. Sirloin is cut into types of rows. Then, yan. Two types of sirloin rows. Standing sirloin rows and the rolled double sirloin rows. Standing sirloin rows is next in tenderness to the leg. So, siya yung next na malambot na cut sa leg part. This is also called rump roast. Rump roast is yung boneless piece of veal na kinakat from hindquarter na nagko-cover dun sa hip bone. Rolled double sirloin roast naman. Dito sa double sirloin roast, lahat ng bone ay nire-remove sa sirloin and rump end. This is also called double rump roast. When roast is boned, o pag naalisan na siya ng mga buto, it is becomes wonderful concoction. Concoction is yung mixtures of various ingredients. So, madali siyang i-carve by the host. Loin of veal. Loin of veal, ito, it lies right next to sirloin. So, doon siya matatagpuan next to sirloin. It refers as the porterhouse of veal. Ano ba yung porterhouse? Porterhouse in yung thick slice ng meat which contain the T-shaped bone cut. It is about 8 inches wide and can cut into small chops. Loin rows of veal. Ito naman yung V-shaped cut like a number of uncut chops. Itong loin rows of veal is V-shaped cut siya. Then, usually, yung T-bone parts dun sa loin is inaalis para mas madali siyang i-cut into a portion. Rolled loin rolls. Etong rolled loin rolls is same lang siya sa loin rolls pero boneless. Inalis na yung mga buto niya. Then, para lang din sa double rolled sirloin rolls, ni-rolled din siya and tinied. Loin veal chops. Ito naman, these chops are identified by their T-shaped bones. Dito naman, madali daw ma-recognize tong veal chops ng loin by their T-shaped bones. Doon kasi sa pinaka-meat ng veal chops ng loin, meron siyang sa gitna na buto na T-shape. Letter T. Itong part cut na to is very tender. Malambot at this is best for grilling and roasting. Rib of veal. Rib of veal sometimes called the rack. The rack, yun yung pinag-a-attach siya ng mga ribs siya. This comes right after the loin. Right after the loin. The rib of veal. Rib of veal comes from the anterior portion of the whole loin. Veal rack has 6 to 8 individual chops, and the first 6 bones are the most tender. Rib rows of veal. It looks like a series of rib chops. The chine and feather bones have been removed for easy carving. So dito naman sa rib rows of veals, inaalis yung chine. Ano ba yung chine? Yun yung backbone. And the feather bones. Para mas madali siyang i-cut. Crown rows of veal. Crown rows of veal. This is an elegant dinner party entry that can be easily carved by the host. So they slightly cut the bone to shape the crown. It is called crown rows because it is composed of 2 rib racks that are bent into a circle then tied together to form a crown. Best cooking method for for crown rows of veal is roast. Rib veal chop. Rib veal chop is cut from the rib roast. So, siya ikinat doon sa part ng rib roast. French rib veal chop. French rib veal chop is exactly the meat in regular rib chop but trimmed quite a bit. So, dito naman sa French rib veal chop, very same lang siya dun sa rib chop. Dito, yung the meat surrounding the bone, sa pinaka-bone, ay ni-remove. Kaya para mas okay siyang tignan. Shoulder of veal. It is not tender as leg section but it has a lovely taste. So, sa shoulder of veal naman, dito sa shoulder of veal, this is cuts that have only small bones. So, no other ways. Usually, half inch or more thick. Hindi siya ganun kalambot na part compared dun sa leg section. Pero, it has a lovely taste. Neck of veal. This is an inexpensive and tougher cut. Dito sa neck of veal, siya yung pinaka-cheaper na cut ng veal. And yung pinaka-matigas na cut. Best cooking method for neck of veal is stew. Then, when it bone, it can be ground or pwede siyang gilingin para gawing veal burgers. Hinge chunk of veal. This is the best choose for ossobuco. Ossobuco is Italian for bone with a hole. Osso means bone and buco means hole. Hinge chunk of veal. Best cooking method for hinge chunk of veal is braise or pat. Breast of veal. It's not very tender and required lengthy cooking. Breast of veal is hindi siya ganon ka lambot na part ng veal kaya it requires ng mahabaang pakulo. Best cooking method for breast of veal is it can made or use 2 veal spare ribs.
Hi guys, this is Danya Vicente and now we will tackle the word poultry. So ano nga ba yung poultry? Poultry can be defined as domestic fowls including chickens, turkeys, geese, and ducks, raised for the production of meat or eggs, and the word is also used for the flesh of these birds used as food. So ang poultry ay familiar naman siguro tayo dun dahil ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga country na kung saan sikat na sikat yung manok kahit sa restaurant ka magpunta, merong manok. And ang poultry daw ay yung ang tawag doon. The word poultry is often used to define the meat of these birds. Ang word daw na poultry ay kadalasang dinidefine ang karne nito. Karne ng mga ibon na to. Chicken is the most domesticated bird across the globe. Old French word for a young chicken is called poulet. So, alam naman siguro natin no, na ang marami sa atin chicken lovers, mahilig sa balat ng manok, kasi nga ang chicken daw ay isa sa mga pinakasikat na ibon or pagkain na ibon dito sa mundo around the globe. Old French word for the young chicken is called poulet. Ang tawag daw sa batang manok ay poulet. So next, Gallus gallus domesticus, also referred to as fowl and descended from the red jungle fowl of Asia. So guys, meron tayong iba't ibang uri ng poultry na kung saan kasama doon ang chicken. Chicken is by far the most popular poultry species utilized by Australians for both meat and egg productions. So, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, chicken ay isa sa mga pinakasikat na pagkain dito sa mundo. Lalo na daw yung egg production nito dahil alam naman natin na napakabilis mag-produce ng egg ng isang manok. Chicken meat consumption has replaced beef as the primary meat consumed and egg consumption is steady and expected to increase. Ang chicken meat daw ay parang mas natalo pa or mas sikat pa siya kaysa sa karne ng baka. Kasi lalo na yung mga itlog, maraming bata sa Pilipinas mahilig sa itlog ng manok kasi daw bukod sa masustansya na ito, masarap pa. So guys, in Australia, the term broiler or meat chicken is used by the industry to describe a chicken grown for meat. Ang tawag daw sa Australia ng isang malaki at kakatayin na manok ay broiler. So next slide. While the term layer is used for the chicken grown and maintained for the egg productions, chickens are also affectionately referred to as chooks. Siguro familiar tayo sa word na chooks to go, di ba? Kasi ang chooks to go ay isa sa pinakasikat na pilihan ng manok dito sa Pilipinas. So, ang tawag daw sa, or isa sa pwedeng itawag sa manok ay chooks. There are many different chicken production system and markets for both chicken meat and eggs. Next. Broiler is an American word used to describe a meat bird such as chicken, turkey, or duck. So, ang broiler daw ay isang American word na kung saan dinidescribe nito ang karne ng ibon gaya ng manok, pabo, at bibe. Samantalang ang tawag naman sa baby bird ay chick. Chick refers to a baby bird. So, next one, chicken can be used for referring to a young bird. The entire fowl species or the meat that is eaten by humans. Next, chook is an Australian and New Zealand slang for a chicken or a cooked chicken. So guys, gaya na nga sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, ang chooks to go, kaya siguro tinawag na chooks to go kasi nga ang tawag daw pala sa Australian and New Zealand slang for a hen is chook. Cockerel, cock or rooster are names given to a male chicken. Rooster naman talaga ang tawag sa lalaking manok. Elementary pa lang tayo, tinuturo na yan, di ba? Ang hen is the name given to the adult female chicken. Samantalang ang babaeng manok naman, ang tawag doon ay hen. Pullet is a term used for the immature female layer. Then last, a spent hen is one that has finished its. Yun. Kasi diba, ang manok kapag fully grown and mataba, healthy, masasabi natin na na-spent niya yung buhay niya ng may katuturan.
Turkey. The turkey is a domesticated variety of an American brown bird. It is used for meat products and is quiet in Australia. Yung turkey daw po o pabo ay isang pinag-iingat sa pagkakaiba-iba ng isang ligaw na ibon sa Amerika. Ginagamit daw po ito sa karne, mga produkto at patok daw po ito sa Australia. Ducks. Ducks and geese are sometimes grouped together as waterfowl. Ducks are very popular and have an established part in Australian news. In many other countries, particularly in Asia, ducks are the most popular form of poultry. Ang mga pato daw po at gansa ay pinagsama-sama bilang waterfowl. Ang mga pato daw po ay napakatanyag at mayroong itinatag na bahagi sa menu ng Australia. Sa maraming iba pang bansa, partikular daw po ang Asia, ang mga pato ay ang pinakamatanyag na uri ng mga ducks. Goose. Goose meat is popular in some cultures and some demands has been developed in Australia. Most are still kept as ornamental birds or as watch geese, as they will hunt voraciously and introduce. The goose is related to the ducks but can live by eating grass. So, ang mga karne ng gansa daw po ay popular sa ilang mga kultura at ang mga ilang pangangailangan ay binubuo sa Australia. Karamihan daw po sa mga gansa ay pinananatili pa rin bilang mga pandekorasyon na ibon o bilang mga gansa na mapapanood. Dahil nagbubulak sila na mabangis sa mga naghihimasok. Ang gansa daw po ay nauugnay sa pato, ngunit maaaring mabuhay sa pamamagitan lang ng pagkain ng mga damo. Game birds. Game is a word which is properly applied, which are two wild creatures that are hunted for food. They are also sometimes called wild fowl. Many game birds have now been domesticated but are still called game in Australia. These include pheasant, gull partridge, and squad pigeon. Pigeon if up to 4 weeks or age that have not yet flown. Other species of bird are used mainly for producing meat, but some produce eating eggs, also quail eggs. In particular, are very popular. Interestingly, the quail is the smallest member of the partridge family. These species are not as efficient as chicken in converting feed into meat or eggs, but they have a special appeal which ensure a market for their products. Ang game po o laro ay isang salita na maayos na inilalapat sa mga ligaw na nilalang na hinabol para sa pagkain. Tinatawag din silang minsang na wild fowl. Maraming mga laro na ibon na ngayon ay naaalagaan. Ngunit daw po ito ay tinatawag pa ring laro. Kasama daw po sa Australia ang pheasant, quail fowl, pugo, partridge o kalapati. Mga kalapati na hanggang 4 na linggo ang edad na hindi pa lumilipad. Iba pang mga species daw po na ang mga ibon ay pangunahing ginagamit para sa paggawa ng karne, ngunit ang ilan ay gumagawa din ng mga itlog na pagkain. Mga itlog ng pugo sa partikular na napakasikat. Kapansin-pansin daw po ang mga pugo ay ang pinakamaliit na miyembro ng partridge na pamilya. Ang mga species daw po na ito ay hindi kasing husay ng mga manok sa pag-convert ng feed o karne o itlog. Ngunit mayroon silang espesyal na apela na itinitiyak ang isang merkado para sa kanilang produkto. The last one po is the ostrich. The ostrich industry has grown in Australia only recently since the international market for ostrich hides has developed. Hides, meat, oil, and feathers all have some value. Ostrich eggs can be used for decorating. So, ang mga ostrich daw po ay kamakailan lamang ang industriya ng ostrich ay lumago sa Australia dahil ang international na merkado para sa mga itinago ng ostrich ay nabuo. Ang mga pagtatago ng karne, langis o balahibo, lahat ay may kaunting halaga ng mga itlog ng avestruz na maaaring magamit para sa dekorasyon.